Hi, my name is Esther from the Canadian Business Women podcast. I hired Adam to help me launch my podcast, and not only did he make it easy by teaching me about podcasting, but also business as well. If you're looking to launch or grow your podcast, then you definitely need to hire Adam. Enjoy the show.
Hey there, Pod Pals. Do you feel like you could use a little bit of help with your podcast launch, growth, or with converting your podcast listeners into becoming your best clients? I want you to head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and watch the 4-minute video that talks about who I help and exactly how I can help them out. Next, I want you to click on the Discovery Call button to set up a free podcast profit potential discovery call where we can talk about working together to help you reach your podcasting and online business goals. Head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and get signed up for your free podcast profit potential discovery call. What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's the show where I teach podcasters how to love their podcast like a hobby and build it like a business. If you're an online coach, a consultant, or a service provider, and you're looking to learn how to leverage your podcast to grow your online business and get more clients, you're in the right spot, Pod Pals. Okay, so it's Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody. We are still dropping episodes for 2024 here. And in this episode, we're going to focus specifically on my podcasting and online business game plan for 2025. So this is a great time of year to be reflecting and thinking, okay, what went well, what didn't go well? What do we need to change? What are we going to experiment with a little bit going into 2025? And this has been a good year, a really cool year. I've learned a lot, had some lessons learned, had some great experiments that have gone well, had some experiments that did not go so well in both podcast and in online business. So I'm going to kind of lead you through this exercise. I'm going to use my show and my online business as an example, and hopefully you will play along as well at home. And before I forget, next week's episode, the last episode of the year, will be, we started this tradition last year, and I love it. And I've been putting a call to action out in my newsletter. But I asked you all to submit questions along with your win of the year in podcasting in 2024. You got a bunch of responses. So that will be next week's episode with all of your wins that we're going to celebrate together and your questions heading into 2025. So if you submitted audio for that, stay tuned next week and you will hear it on the show. All right, now back to this week's episode, the podcasting and online business game plan for 2025. There's 4 questions that we're going to cover. All right. First question, what are my growth focus points for 2025? Second question, what new things am I going to learn about or experiment with in 2025? Third question, what am I going to do less of in 2025? And fourth and final question, what is working so well that I'm going to keep doing it in 2025? All right. So let's dive into that first one first. What are my growth focus points for the new year for 2025? I've got 3 that I'm really looking at. And I don't think these are going to be surprising to anybody that's been listening to my show over the past year here. First one, podcast audience. I want to keep growing the Pod Pals Nation. Everybody listens to this show. I want to keep all of you happy and engaged. I want to find more people like you to bring into the mix. So I'm going to be doing a lot of things to, all the normal stuff, the regular weekly content, running ads on Overcast FM. But one thing I'm going to be doing more of is more interview-based episodes, which I've been mixing in here. We've had a couple over the last month or so, and great feedback. You guys have been enjoying those. But more interviews and also more guesting and speaking opportunities. Usually when you do more interviews that are strategic in nature, when I have somebody on my show, I'm really looking to connect with that person, collaborate with that person in various ways. So that usually leads to me being on their show and things like that. So more interviews on my show, but also more guesting and speaking opportunities on other people's shows, other people's platforms, their events, their virtual stages, their live stages. So I'm really going to be making a networking effort with that. And that almost always leads to growth. All right. Second focus point, email list. A couple of things I'm really going to hit hard and heavy. This year, I realized the power of an email list. And I know I sound like a broken record week after week, but if you guys are not building your email list, you really need to get on it. If you are spending, here's the thing. Let me read your mind for a moment, Pod Pal that is listening to this. Um, I guarantee there is a large percentage of you that are out there listening that are killing yourself trying to create video content for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, things like that, like hours and hours doing dances, pointing at things popping on the screen, and you're getting no ROI. Like you're a couple of likes, a couple of hearts, maybe a comment, and you are really grinding with that. And you're doing that instead of building an email list because you don't have time to build an email list. You don't have time to put together a lead magnet. You don't have time to do newsletters. You don't have time uh, to learn how to do email marketing or whatever. I know there's a lot of you that are in that camp right now. And I'll tell you straight up, I think it's a huge mistake. I think you're making a huge mistake. My list isn't giant. It's about 2,700 people. Looking forward to crossing 3,000 soon. Maybe by the end of this year, maybe beginning, January. That's definitely going to happen. It's small but mighty. High open rate, high engagement rate. I nurture my audience really well. I'm very strategic about that and very on purpose with all of that. And that's because I started to really see the monetization power of an engaged and growing email list this year, more than any year that I've ever had. I added a lot of really high quality people to my email list. Shout out to all you guys that are listening in. And that made a huge difference with my business to where I don't have to beat the drum so hard on my show going, thing I'm selling, thing I'm selling, thing I'm selling. Here you go get it now. I do that a little bit. I got something new. I'm going to tell you about it. But I'm doing a lot more sales specific emails when there is a thing to sell, a specific promotion, an experiment, and having that asset of an email list has been huge. Tens of thousands of dollars huge for me this year. All right. So if you have put very little or no effort into building an email list and nurturing an email list and getting all things email list going for your brand, 2025 needs to be the year to do that. Quit dancing around making TikTok videos, especially if you're not getting an engagement. Let's get a lead magnet put together. Let's start building your email list, and let's start nurturing that list. So, two things I'm going to be experimenting with now that my email list sermon is over for this episode. It seems like it's like almost a weekly thing, but I'll keep doing it because I know that it's important. I know there's a lot of people that promote, do this, do that, and sometimes it works for everybody. Sometimes it's more like specific to them. I really feel like email list is not just like, oh, this is an Adam thing and it only works for Adam. Like this tends to work across the board. All right. Certain social media platforms, you're like, LinkedIn, place to be, bro. Got to be on LinkedIn or you're an idiot. Like that type of advice, that's not what I'm talking about here. Like email list applies to pretty much everybody. All right. All right. Two things that I'm going to do with my email list. Number one, I'm going to use my newsletter as a lead magnet more. I haven't done that at all. You can't even just opt into my newsletter at all, anywhere on my website or anywhere. It's on my checklist today to create an opt-in just for my newsletter and leverage that because my newsletter is really freaking good. Dare I say it's the best in the podcasting industry. It's not just podcasting, it's online business. Like I'm in this little niche of online business coach for podcasters. We talk about growth, we talk about podcasting things, but all of it applies to getting clients, building online businesses, things like that, building funnels with your podcast. So it's unique. There's not a lot of people doing that or doing it well. All right. So my newsletter is a huge feature of my business. So I need to start leveraging that as a lead magnet. And I'm going to be doing that specifically with like promoting it. Okay, so I write my newsletter in real time on Thursdays. I sit down and I write it and I send it. That's kind of a big part of the deal. You're not getting these canned emails that I wrote 10 months ago or whatever, or my VA or AI wrote for me. They're not, I don't use AI at all in that newsletter. I sit down, I drink coffee. That newsletter is not created by AI, it's created by cold brew coffee in my brain piece. All right. And that comes across different and people like it. And I've got a really, really high open engagement rate. So I'm going to start featuring that. One strategy, I've hired a couple coaches on this topic. One coach, and they are like, you need to promote your newsletter the day before, like tease it. And like, so I can go on Threads and go, hey, did you know that XYZ, the call is, you kind of shout out like a problem. All right. A pain point. Here's some things to think about. If you want to learn all about this, make sure you're on my email list by 10 a.m. tomorrow, because my next newsletter is all about this and it's coming out, and you only get it in the newsletter. You don't get it anywhere else. So, and then drop the link. So I go on Threads and post something like that the day before. And I'm going to be doing that every single Wednesday. I will do that every Wednesday this year on Threads. I don't really care about anywhere else, but on Threads, I'll be posting that every single Wednesday, and we're going to see what happens. My coach suspects that I will get 50 to 100 opt-ins every single week if I do it right, if I market it correctly, and as I get better and better at it. So now we're talking about 50 to 100 opt-ins every single week just from that one post. All right, we could be looking at adding 500, 1,000 new subscribers to my email list just from doing that one strategy, using my newsletter as a lead magnet, as an opt-in. So that is something that I'm going to be doing, and I will keep delivering that newsletter every Thursday. And the next thing is more lead magnet promo swaps for growing my email list. That's my second email list building strategy, where, I have a guest on the show. One of the things that I have them fill out are collaboration opportunities that they're interested in. When somebody says, yeah, I'm gonna be a guest on your show, I collect all the normal info, but then there's like a check all that apply section that says, I'd love to do collaboration opportunities. Check any of these boxes that seem of interest to you. One of the boxes is, I would like to do an email list promo swap or a lead magnet promo swap. All right. So they come on my show and they check that box. I'll follow up with them and say, hey, great episode. It's going to be live, all the things. You had mentioned when you registered that you'd be interested in doing a lead magnet promo swap. Here's how that works. And I'll lay that out there for them and go, I'll put one of your lead magnets in my newsletter. If you put one of mine in your newsletter, here's the format I like to use. Is that a go? Okay, let's do it. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of those. All right. The third growth focus point for 2025 is the Threads app. I am really obsessed with this because of the ease and the effectiveness. You guys hear me quote Joe Polish all the time, ELF. We want ELF, an ELF business, easy, lucrative, fun. And I feel like Threads is ELF. It is easy because it's text-based. 10 seconds, I just posted something. Boom. Another 15 seconds, just posted something. Bang. Easy. Not dancing around pointing at stuff on the screen. That's awesome. So it's easy. Lucrative. I'm getting clients, like high ticket clients from Threads app. And fun. Hell yeah. I'm having fun because I'm getting great engagement. I'm enjoying myself. I can kind of like creativity dump onto that app. I can organize everything with my threads that I'm posting, even the replies that I'm doing when I'm engaging in other people's posts. And it's been totally ELF. So Threads app strategy, I got a couple things. First thing is I'm going to keep posting daily, and I'm going to build an audience. Really, something's going to happen probably this year and or next year on Threads. The algorithm and the platform will shift, and paid ads will become a part of the platform. It's going to happen. It's owned by Meta. It's an offshoot of Instagram. What happened with Facebook? What happened with Instagram? It's going to happen with Threads. So I see this as a land grab. This is like the olden Wild West days when everybody headed west to grab land. It's like the prequel to the show Yellowstone, when they're out there like, this is my land. So I'm on a Yellowstone binge right now, by the way. So I feel like there is a land grab happening on the Threads app right now. And it's been happening. I missed out on about a year of that because I kind of initially got in, sat back a little bit and watched, and then really have been hitting it really heavy the last 3 months. And I'm seeing a ton of growth. But I really want to get to 10,000 followers on Threads in 2025. Like, I have to find a way to do it and build that audience before it becomes really hard to build an audience when they change the platform and there's more people on there. So I'm going to stick with it. Going to just keep on scooping up audience, building audience. And the other thing is I'm going to keep learning. I've hired 2 coaches for Threads in the last couple of months. One I've been working with, great program. Another one starts in January, where I'm learning how to write these longer form threads called Super Threads. And yeah, I've already mentioned hiring coaches for newsletter and for threads. So there's 3 different coaches I've already hired that I'm working with currently and or in 2025. Success leaves clues. Coaches need coaches. I actually put up a thread about this last week that had a really good engagement. So those are 3 areas that I'm really focused on growing. That's the first question that I brought up at the beginning of the episode. The second question, what new things am I going to learn about and or experiment with? All right, the first thing is a high ticket mastermind offer. I've been screwing around with this for like 3 years. It's time to get serious and make it happen or make it not happen. I've been putting out surveys for live event type things. I've got the offers. I've got the programs that are producing results. And I've just had a hard time putting it all together. So I'll give you one guess as to what I did. I hired a coach. So I actually hired Chris Williams. He was on the show a few episodes back. We had planned on working together. He agreed to come on the show, and that kind of solidified everything. But I'm in his Group Coach Nation program. It was not cheap. I'm paying a lot for that, but it's already producing. Like, I need his help to help me just put it all together correctly. I've got all the pieces. He's going to help me put all the pieces in the right order, in the right shape, in the right size, in the right offer package. And we're going to put it out in 2025. All right. So that's the 4th time I've mentioned hiring a coach in this episode. All right. So that's going to happen. And I say high ticket mastermind offer or offers. One thing we're deciding is it a mastermind that's all encompassing, like converting listeners into clients, or is it, growth plus listener to client conversion plus online business development? We're still kind of hashing out the details a little bit with that. So lots of exciting things to come. And we're doing some launch groups with that. So if you're on my email list, that would be a great time to get. That'd be a great reason, to get on my email list, because I like to push out things I'm experimenting with and new offers I create with beta groups and such inside my email list. The other thing, I'm going to be raising prices. I've already started. What I realized, I'm in a couple different masterminds, and people are always like in my ear about my prices are at a certain level, and the results that I've been able to produce are at a totally different level. There's a lot of people in this entry pricing level, and they're kind of just getting started, coaches and consultants, or maybe they're doing it, but they're not doing it at a high level. They don't have testimonials. They don't have things like that yet. I'm still priced at that level, but I'm operating at the level or a couple levels past that. So I need to make my prices reflect that. And raising prices is always scary. I have this conversation with a lot of people that are like my online business academy for podcasters. When I do consulting with people, I'm like, hey, I really think you should raise prices. And it always freaks them out. And I'm no different. When I have people tell me that, it's scary, because I'm like, well, this $2,500 to $5K range, I'm really comfortable selling in that range. I have a very high closing rate in that range. I feel like it is totally easy. But now that my calendar is getting full of those offers, I'm like, I'm kind of running out of real estate with the old calendar. So we need to do things a little bit differently, just to make sure that my offers and my business continues to evolve. So that's something that you all need to consider, is what level of business are you operating at, and look at like the results, the testimonials. If you're still in that starting phase, then that's great. But if you've been doing it for a while, you're producing great results, you've got testimonials, it may be time to raise prices. It probably is time to raise prices. And that is definitely something that I'm going to be doing. Like I said, I've already started doing it. All right. Next question. What am I going to do less of? This is, if I haven't been freaking you out about raising prices and all this other stuff, let me really freak you out, Pod Pals. Let me just make you totally and completely uncomfortable. Get ready. Who's enjoying the raspy voice today? It's like allergy season kicked in again. There's like 14 allergy seasons in Missouri. And this is like number 12. So I am Batman. All right. What am I going to do less of? Allow me to freak you out. Video content. I said it. What am I going to be doing less of in 2025? Video content. That is the exact equal and opposite of what everyone else is telling you to focus on. Like all I hear is like, I got an email, how YouTube ate podcasting. Video podcasting is video. You don't have a podcast if you don't have video. Like, this is all of the stuff that I'm seeing. And I'm kind of laughing at it because I've never really hardcore focused on video. I've got 1.1 million downloads. I make a bunch of money. I get great clients. I'm like, I must be in a loophole or something. I don't know. The flux capacitor is broken, and I'm on this time space continuum warp over here that it's opposite land, and it's working for me. So I know a lot of people, when you add video, it adds a lot of time, and it adds a lot of frustration. And for people that are doing this on the side hustle mode, a lot of people quit. He's like, I ain't got time for this stuff. So I'm going to kind of lead the charge and kind of double down and just be like, listen, like, well, will you see me show up on video? Sure. But I'm definitely worrying less and less and less about video. I quit posting reels and TikTok videos and all that. Like, if you see a reel on IG, here's what I did. I sat down on one Friday and I shot 30 60-second videos that were just me being an expert. One tip, I wasn't promoting a specific episode of my show. I just took different concepts, taught on them, dropped a tip, and said, hey, if you like this, check out my show, Podcasting Business School. I've got like 35 of those. And I post 1 or 2 of those a week, and I just keep reusing them over and over and over again. And it's about the same on Instagram. You know, it's not shattering any records, and you know, that's the story of my life on Instagram. TikTok does about the same. YouTube Shorts does about the same. So like every Wednesday I'll post one of those, and it's just kind of there. I just put it out, but I didn't have to I just created it once and I just reuse it over and over and over again. That's the game plan definitely for 2025. But yeah, not worried about YouTube, not worried about Reels, not worried about TikTok. And if that freaks you out, then you don't have to do what I do. You don't have to do any of this stuff. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. You can allow me to experiment. I will, of course, report in. And if things need to change, I will make the change. If it's just like, wow, my podcast audio downloads got cut in half, I really have to do this. I got to put some focus into YouTube. Then I will. But I feel like too many people are just hardcore pushing that. And I know that's not the right fit for some of you, for a lot of you. And I don't know. I feel like I represent my ideal listener avatar. For those of you that are listening in, we probably enjoy hanging out together, similar interests, similar personalities. And I'm not a video watcher. Like if I have an online course or something, I'll dig through those videos. I'll watch a little bit of YouTube, but I like to listen to audio while I'm doing other things. So I kick it in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and I'm working out, or I'm driving, or I'm, taking a walk through the neighborhood, or whatever, doing the dishes, cooking dinner. And that's my podcast time. And you can't do that with YouTube. And that's not consumed that way. I mean, people are like, yeah, play the video and just listen to it. Okay, well, how about we just do audio? That's the same thing. It's more efficient and effective. So anyway, hopefully I thoroughly freaked you out with that one. And again, you don't have to do anything that I'm doing or saying that I'm going to do here, but I just want to put that thought out there. I always want to challenge you all to think differently and potentially against the grain of what everybody's really pushing. And I feel that video stress push right now. All right. Last thing, what is working so well that I'm going to keep on doing it in 2025? This might be the most important question to ask each year. This and what are you going to do less of, honestly. But a lot of times we add something and we stop doing things that are working. It's like, this works so well, I'm going to completely stop doing it. Don't be that person in 2025. I'll say this is the most important question. You've talked me into it, Pod Pals. This is the most important question of the 4. What is working so well that I'm going to keep on doing it? I got 3 things. First one, I got to continue to use a discovery call to action on the show. There is nothing more effective for me personally than that discovery call CTA that you heard at the beginning and the end of almost every single episode. When I get away from that, my discovery calls dip, and guess what else dips? The monies. All right. Even if I'm promoting something I'm selling, it tends to not balance out. I got a new lead magnet. I do something I'm promoting. If I go away from the discovery call CTA week after week, discovery calls dip, money dips. All right. When I do it week after week after week, I'm full with discovery calls and full with the money bank. And that's where I want to be. So I'm gonna keep doing that. And if you're lucky, I may even record a few variations of the same intro and outro. Maybe I might put some music behind it. I don't know. You never know what you're going to get from me in the intro and outro. So stay tuned. Second thing, the monthly workshops. Those have been awesome. So I've been doing a free workshop every month, not doing one in December, the holiday season. That doesn't make any sense. It's just going to be not a good use of my time, and the show up rate will not be good. But back in January, in January, I'll be cranking them out. So monthly workshops of different topics in the podcasting and online business space. And yeah, so I'm going to keep doing those. Those have been phenomenal for growing my email list, getting new listeners, audience engagement, client conversion. They've been great. And I'll probably get a few more under my belt, and I'll do an episode where I kind of break down that strategy, exactly what I'm doing. And yeah, so let me know if you feel like that would be helpful. Okay, last part of this one, what is working so well that I'm going to keep right on doing it, the podcast growth coach certification program. Last year, this was one of my experiments. So at the end of last year, I started considering this, and like this would have been like, what's one of the things that I'm going to experiment with? Oh, this certification program. I did it, and it went extremely freaking well. We've graduated, I think, 16 podcast growth coaches. Shout out to every single one of them. I got a few in the hopper right now. We're going to do another certification group here, quarter one of 2025. But this has been awesome on a lot of levels. One, financially, awesome offer. It's gone really well. But also just like having that lineage of coaches being developed underneath me. Like if any of your college football fans, you go, all right, like Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches ever. And he's got all these coaches that were coaches underneath him, and they're all becoming great coaches. Like there's that kind of feel to it. Not calling myself Nick Saban or anything like that, but it feels cool to dispense my knowledge and pour into these other people that want to be leaders in the space and helping them achieve that. I feel like impact wise, this is the thing that's going to really help me make, podcasting a better place. And it's giving more credibility to people that call themselves a podcast coach. And there's a lot of people out there that kind of get into it because they launched their show and they like podcasting. They've done 3 episodes and now they're a podcast coach. And I feel like there's a different path that some people should take to elevate above that situation. And these people that are going through my certification program, they're getting great results. They're getting clients, building great relationships. You're hearing them do coaching episodes. Actually, this Friday, in the Friday episode, you'll have another one of my certified podcast growth coaches, Kristen, will be doing an episode. So that's been very exciting for me to feature them on the show and let them show off a little bit. So yeah, that's been all around. I love working with that group. I love working with really motivated people in the podcasting space that are building online businesses. So it's just been an ideal fit, ideal avatar client for me. And ELF, again, easy, lucrative, fun. So that is definitely something I'm going to keep doing in 2025. All right, Pod Pals, 28 minutes strong into this solo episode. My solo episodes are just getting longer and longer. I get asked that question a lot on threads when I'm chatting around on those thread streets. How long should my podcast episodes be? And I'm like, listen, however long it takes. So right now we're 28 minutes in. I've said what I needed to say. No extra stuff. No, I'm not just going like, well, this really needs to get to 30 because the algorithm. Like, I'm not going to do that. All right, maybe we end up there because I'm rambling now, but I'm not going to force it to a certain time frame. So yeah, a lot of my solo episodes used to be 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 17 minutes. Who cares? Say what I need to say. Boom. Adam out. All right. Speaking of Adam out, it's time to close up shop here. I hope everybody It celebrates Christmas and holidays this time of year. Have a happy holiday season, and I'm super excited for what's coming in 2025. Again, next week's episode, don't miss it. It'll be on New Year's Eve, and it'll be the podcasting wins episode. You all submitted audio with your wins and a question, and I answer all the questions in the episode content. So excited to share the wins and celebrate you all and celebrate another year of podcasting. 2025, I'm going to celebrate my 10-year podcast anniversary. That's crazy. I'm like podcast grandpa over here now, 10 years in. But man, it's been a crazy ride. Maybe I'll do an episode unpacking 10 years of just telling stories of all the weird stuff that's happened along the way, because there's been a lot of that. All right, Pod Pals, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. And with that, I'm going to send you out into the world, wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. I'll see you on the next episode. If you need a little bit of help with your podcast launch, growth, or monetization strategy, head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and get signed up for a free podcast profit potential discovery call. During this free 20-minute discovery call session, I'm going to analyze your podcasting brand and tell you where I think you're missing on an opportunity for profits. Next, I'm going to tell you exactly what I suggest that you do as your next step. If I've got an offer that would help you accelerate the process, we can discuss working together as well. So head on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, and click on the Discovery Call button to schedule your free Podcast Profit Potential Discovery Call.